Alright guys, so in today's video I'm going to be showing you exactly how to import Flutter project in VS Code, alright, from GitHub. So if you want to be able to import Flutter projects, if you want to be able to import Flutter projects in VS Code, right, from GitHub, watch this video step by step because that's exactly what I'm going to be showing you in this video, right? So make sure you pay close attention and watch this video to the end, right? It's very important you watch this video to the end before you start taking action so that you will not make any mistake. Right, let me just show you exactly how to import projects, Flutter projects, all right, from into VS Code. All right, I want to show you how to do it into VS Code from GitHub. Okay, so the first thing you want to do obviously is to come over to this GitHub website right here. That's the first thing you want to do. If you don't know how to come over to the GitHub website, right, just open a new tab on your device and then type in GitHub. It is super simple. The website is going to come out, right, it's going to be the first page, right? So just click on it and then boom, you will actually be inside of your website, all right, inside of the GitHub website, right? But then for us to continue, we're actually going to have to sign in if you have an account. If you don't, you're going to have to sign up. It's actually a very easy and simple process to sign up. You can't miss it. But then for this video, right, I have listed out 8 steps to walk through to successfully be able to import Flutter projects, right, into VS Code from GitHub. Right, I've listed a list of steps, right? So we're going to be walking through each of them to successfully do it, import Flutter projects into VS Code from GitHub. So all right, the first thing you're going to do obviously is to actually install VS Code. So if you haven't installed VS Code already, right, if you don't have VS Code, right, the first thing you should do is to actually install it. It is super simple. So you come here and then open a browser, right, a tab on your browser, and then you type in code.visualstudio.com. It is super simple, right? Then once it opens, right, it comes to the website right here. You will just see the one for Windows, right? You can also search for the one for Mac, Linux, and stuff like that, right? If you're using a Mac OS, right, there should be one for Mac OS and all of that, and Linux and stuff like that. So just look for the one that best suits your needs, your computer needs, and then just download that one. All right, it's super simple. You honestly cannot miss it, right? So you can check for other platforms, web insider editions and stuff like that. Right, so this one is the one for Windows. The reason why it's showing the one for Windows is because I'm actually using a Windows right now, but if you're using an OS, a Mac, it should show Mac, and if it doesn't, just look for it, right? Look for the Mac operating version, Mac version right there on their website, then just download it. It's a very easy and simple process. Once you do it, you just install it, right? It's a very easy and simple process to go. So basically that's actually the installation is actually a step by step you just follow to install. So the next thing you want to do once you've installed the Visual Studio Code, right, the next thing you want to come over and install Flutter and that extension, right? So the way you install Flutter and that extension, if you don't have it installed, is to actually go to VS Code. You have to do it inside of VS Code. All right, so what you're going to do is that you have to open your VS Code, right, and then you go to the extension, right? You go to the extension tab, right, the square icon on the left bar, the extension tab, right? Then you go in and type in Flutter. It is super simple. All right, so let me go over to my VS Code right here. So this is actually mine, right? This is actually mine right here. So what you want to do right now is that you want to go over, you want to come over to the extension section right here, click on it, right, and then right here you're going to type in the search bar, you're going to type in Flutter, right? So it will just bring up the Flutter, yes, right here. This is super simple, right? So this is actually the one you're going to go for. It's actually 12 MB for me, so you're going to actually install it right here, right? So what you should know also is that this Flutter actually it actually comes with the dat extension, right? So if you install the Flutter inside of your VS Code, it should come with the dat extension. Install the Flutter extension, it will automatically install the dat extension too, right? Super simple. So let me go over and install mine because I don't have it. So I just click on install right here. It is a super simple process, right? Do you trust the publisher that code? Yeah, I trust. Install. All right, so as you can see, boom. It's It's actually installing right now, so we'll just give it some time to actually install completely. Alright guys, as you can see, it's actually installed, right? Super amazing. Also the data extension I was telling you about also installed, right? So super simple. We'll move over to the next step. Right now that we've actually installed them, right, the next step, which is step 3, is to actually install Git. If you don't have Git, right, if you don't have it already, you'll need Git. So VS Code can pull clone code from GitHub. All right, so if you don't have it, what you should do is that you should come over to this website here called git dash c git dash scm, all right, slash downloads. All right, git dash scm slash download. Let me open a tab so you can see. Super simple. Right now, make sure you watch this video to the end before you start taking action. It's very important you watch this video to the end so you're not going to make any mistake, right? So make sure you watch this video to the end before you start taking action. All right, so it's git-scm.com slash downloads. All right, so this is what you're going to use. Right, so once you click on it, you actually take you over to this page right here. This is it. So you come here. If you're using Windows, you come here and download this one for Windows. If you're using Mac, you come here and download the one for Mac. Same thing with Linux. If you're using Linux, right, download the one for Linux. Super simple. Once you download it, you just click on it and then you install. Click on it to install. It's a very easy and simple process. Just follow the step-by-step procedure to actually install the Git. Right, it is very simple. You honestly cannot miss it. Right, super simple. So once it's installed, right, the next thing is that once it's installed, we'll move over to stage 4. The reason is because I already have the Git in my system. All right, I already have it inside of my system, so it's not necessary for me, right? I can't reinstall it, right? But then the next thing, once you've installed it, right, is to actually copy which is step 4, to copy the GitHub project link. All right, so we'll go to GitHub repository page you want to import, and then click the green button, the green code button, right, and then copy the name of the file, the name of the project. So I'll just go and sign in, right? Remember, we are supposed to actually go over to our account. If you don't have an account, you just sign up. Super simple. But then I'm just going to, alright guys, so as you can see right now, I'm actually inside of my GitHub account, right? So what I'm going to do right now is that if I just come here and click on this icon right here, right, if I come here and click on this icon, I'll come over to this where it says repositories. Super simple. So I'll see some of my repositories right here. If you don't have a repository, you can just click on new, can create one. But then I'll just click on one of my repositories right here, right? So actually I think I'll just pick this one right here, I guess. Let me go below and select other ones here. So I'm just gonna check out this you know what, I think I'm gonna go for this one because I have HTML inside here. I'm gonna go for this my website project, right? I click on it, right? So what you're going to do is that once you click on it, the next thing you want to do is that you go to the green code button and then click on it, right? Copy the HTTPS link. Let me show you what that means. So this is the green code button. Click on it and copy this HTTPS link right here. Super simple. Right, so the next thing you want to do right here, is to actually clone, which is step 5, is to actually clone or download the project in VS Code. Right, so clone and download the project in VS Code. So inside of VS Code, we click on view and then type in this go to command palette, right? Super simple. Then we type in git column space clone, right? Let me explain what that means. So for this, I'm just going to let me just paste out this thing we copied right here in from GitHub. Let me explain. So I'm just going to paste this link we got from GitHub repository. So I'll just copy this one right here, right, because we're going to need this right here. So I just prefer copying and pasting than typing, but then it's still just git column space clone. Right, so we'll go over to view, then command palette. All right, so let's go over to our VS Code. So we go over to view, which is the top at the top left. Click on it, see command palette right here. Then you click on you just type in git.clone. Is actually here right here, but then you can also still type, it's still the same thing. All right, so I just click on it right here, and then I can actually go further and click on clone from GitHub. Right, clone from GitHub. So yeah, once I do this, it's actually a very easy and simple process. You see that because my own is actually connected to GitHub, right? Mine is actually connected. My GitHub account is actually connected to VS Code. If yours is not connected, you might not see the cloned GitHub. You just paste in that HTTPS we took from GitHub repository, alright? But because mine is already cloned, I can see all my repositories right here. So this is the one that we want, right? This is actually the one that we want, like I said. So I'm just going to click on it. Let me take it again. Yeah, I think so. So yeah, I believe this is it. So what we are going to do right now is that we actually going to paste the GitHub code, which is what we did, right? There was no need to paste it because mine was already linked, mine was already there, but then normally you're supposed to paste it. Then the next is to choose a folder on your computer to save the projects, right? Wait for the cloning process to finish. So let me go back. So let me choose a place where I want it, right? So if I come back here, I'm going to select this one called push test. This is where I want it to go. Yeah, I want it to come here. So as you can see, it says cloning GitHub repository right here. So basically that's how it works. Once it's done, what's going to happen is that you wait for the cloning process to finish, right? When it asks you, would you like to open the clone repository, you click on open, right? So I will now paste the GitHub link there and then select where to save it, which is what we just did. Alright, and VS Code will download all the files. VS Code will download all the files from GitHub automatically. Alright, so then we'll move on to step 6, but then I think it's actually still processing. So it says, would you like to open the cloned repository, right? Yes, the answer is yes. Right, so we open it. You can open it in a new Windows, but then I think this one is actually okay. So it's actually going to open right in just a second. But then whilst it's coming up, we move over to step 6, which is to open the Flutter project, right? If it didn't open automatically, right, we open the Flutter project, right? If it didn't open, you click on files, open folder, and then select the folder you just cloned. Let me see, it's supposed to actually come up right here. All right, so as you can see right now, this is actually it's my website project, right? This is actually it right here, as you can see, right? So basically this is it. The folder is actually opened, right? So the next thing we want to do is to that's the folder that has been cloned. We select the folder, and this basically if it does not actually open on its own, but ours just opened. All right, so the next thing we want to do is that so indicators that it worked, right? Indicators that it works, you can see folders like lib, right? You can android / iOS and all of that, that. So those are indicators that it actually worked, right? But these are not necessary for us, but we know it worked. Once it opened, right, you should see folders like lib, android, iOS, and the subspec .yam file. That means your Flutter project is now fully imported in VS Code. Alright, so let's go back. Now that it's actually opened, right, the folder is actually opened. What you're going to do next is you're just going to go back and go over to step 7, which is the second to last step, which is to get project dependencies. Alright, to make sure everything runs, you need to download the project packages, right? So we open terminal in VS Code, and then we type in this Flutter space pub space get, right, and then press enter. Now I'll run the code and download all the packages the project needs. So let's see. So to open the terminal, you come here to these 3 dots right here that are placed horizontally. Come to terminals, click on new terminals right here, right, and then you just come here, and then I'll just type or paste whatever you want to do, the code that we got from our file, which is Flutter space pub, which is pub space get. All right, so this is what you just paste inside of VS Code. All right, so as you can see, mine is actually pasted right here. Let me paste it right here. Right, so Flutter space pub and all of that. I think I typed it too much. Right, so yeah, I'll just click on enter. Right, so as you can see, it says here Flutter, the term Flutter isn't recognized as the name, blah blah blah. So what's going to happen is this. Okay guys, this actually happens for beginners. All right, this mostly happens when you're a beginner, right? You see something like this, right? And there's a perfectly good explanation for this, right? I actually have inside of my um inside of my document, I actually have it what really happened. I can explain what the problem is, right? So what this error means, right? This error Flutter is not recognized, right, as the name of a cmd let, right? A command let is not recognized, right? This is exactly what it says. Flutter, the term Flutter is not recognized as the name of a command let. Right? What this simply means, basically, right? So basically, what's going to happen is, so this is just for the explanation I wrote, right? Because this is actually a common thing that most beginners experience when you're trying to successfully do this, right? So you think of it like this: VS Code asks Windows to run Flutter, but Windows said I don't know where Flutter or what Flutter means, right? So we can actually fix it. I wrote down some steps to actually fix it. It's actually a quick fix. I said the first step is to actually download and install the Flutter SDK, right? This is the exact reason why our terminal could not pick up, right? VS Code could not pick up the Flutter because we don't have the Flutter SDK. All right, and I'm doing it so you can actually know in case you get stuck. These are the things you do. So you just go over to docs.flutter docs dev slash get dash started slash install slash windows. All right, so if I come over here, yeah, so if I click on it, so as you can see, docs.flutter.dev slash get dash started slash install slash windows. Right, so basically this is actually it. Now you change this one to if you're actually using Mac or Linux, you actually change that one, but I did that one because I'm actually using a Windows right here. Super simple. So basically what you want to do right now is to actually install it. Like, it's actually a quick installation. All right, so I want to come over to this custom setup right here. Right, so basically this is what we're going to come over to. Right, by the way, if you're using a Mac OS, right, or Linux, right, the website I gave you, right, if you change this one to, let's try and see if you can change it to Mac OS. All right, so you just change it to Mac OS, right, or you can just type it Flutter DSDK for OS, right, for Mac OS. All right, or for Linux, right, the link will actually come up. You'll be able to get it. I just thought to make that clear, so I'm just going to go and type it and click on this custom setup right here. It is super simple. All right guys, so what we're going to do, I'm actually going to select this one right here. Right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to select this one this way. Right, so what we're going to do right now is that I'm just going to come here to custom setup, and then I'm just going to come here and then select this one right here called install with VS Code. Right, it's actually going to be easier. Right, so this is what we're going to do. So what we're going to do, select the one that works best for you. Right, if you're using a Mac OS, just click that one. If you're using Linux, Chrome OS, right, Windows, for me I'm using Windows, so I'm just going to select Windows. All right, so basically that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to Alright guys, so you can actually just follow the instructions right here to be able to successfully download the Flutter SDK. But basically what you're supposed to do, if I come over here, we're going to view. You need to come over to view and then come over to command palettes, and then we just type in Flutter, right? So if we type in Flutter right here, a new project, we click on it, something will come up that says could not find a Flutter SDK. Right, so please download, or if already downloaded, click locate SDK. So we don't have it, so we'll click on download right here. Right, very simple. It's to ask us where we want to actually put in the Flutter right? So I'm just going to click on this right here. Right, projects my website. This is where I want it to be. So I'll not click on where it says clone Flutter. All right, so this is where we're going to clone Flutter. All right, it is very easy and simple. So it's actually downloading right here, downloading the Flutter SDK. This may take a few minutes. All right, so basically that's what the instruction said right here. All right, so this step says this download takes a few minutes, blah blah blah. If you suspect that the download has hung, you can click on cancel, then start the installation again. Right, but then the next step is to click add SDK to parts. Right, when successful, a notification displays, and then it says something like this: the Flutter SDK was added to your part. All right, so let's see what's going to happen. It's still downloading right here. When it's done, we're going to follow the next step. Right, the SDK is actually installed, right, which is super amazing. So the next thing we want to do according to the instructions that they've said, right, all right, so the next thing we want to do according to the instruction that they said is that we click add SDK to paths, right, add SDK to paths, right, when successful a notification displays. All right, so basically let's see how we can do that. So if I come here right here, alright guys, so now that we've done this, right, to just confirm that it actually worked, what we are going to actually do is we are actually going to let's see, well, we might actually have to exit this and then restart everything just to verify that it's actually installed, right, the SDK. So I'll just exit my VScode right here, and then I'm just going to come here, and then so once I exit it, I'm just going to come here and then open my VScode again, right, VScode. So I just click on it right here. Super simple. Flutter new. If you don't see, you can type it, Flutter new project, right? So we click on application, right? Super simple. Click on application, and then it's actually going to open our explorer, our file explorer for us. Super simple. Alright guys, so as you can see, right, it actually opened it for us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back, right, because I've actually done this before. We're actually going to go back, and then we're going to select a folder where the Flutter is actually going to be. We're going to select the folder where Flutter is going to be. So for this video, I'm just going to go over to my desktop, and then I'm actually going to create a new folder, right? I'm actually going to create a new folder. I don't want to use any of these previous folders right here. So what I'm going to do is this. Alright guys, so I'm gonna create a new folder. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna create a new one where I'm gonna put in the, alright, so I'm just gonna name it Flutter. Flutter, just exit this Flutter, and then I'll just put maybe Flutter test or test, whatever, Flutter TE, whatever. So basically this is where we're going to create our projects in. So I'm just going to select the folder. Alright, so basically this is it. I'll just select the folder right here, and then something is actually going to, as you can see guys, so all I did was, as you can see, you see Flutter application 1, right? So basically this is it, right? These are the tools inside of the Flutter application, right? So basically what I did was I just typed in view, and then I came over to command palette, and clicked on new project, right? Once you click on new projects, it's very simple. They're going to open your file explorer and then ask you where you want to put in the Flutter application, right? So basically that's just it. You just do that, and then it will automatically open the Flutter explorer. And if it doesn't, you can always come here and then go to file and then open open a folder, and then open that exact folder to bring it here. Okay, That's to bring it right here. So it's super simple. All right, so that basically would be what will conclude this step 6, right? Because step 6 says that the indicator that it actually works is that you will see folders like lib, right? Lib, Android, iOS, pub spec dot yarn. And if you come over here, you can see we have iOS, lib, Android, and all of that, pub spec and all of that. So basically this is actually it, right? So we actually successfully crossed the step 6, right? So if you come over to step 7, right, which is to get project dependencies. So what we're going to do right now is that we're going to open the terminal in VS Code and then type in Flutter pub get. All right, so I'll just copy this right here. Let me just copy this right here. So we're going to see if it's actually going to work. So what you're going to do right now is we're just going to go back here to Flutter, and then it's super simple. Just come back here and then just type in these 3 dots right there, come to terminals, come to new terminal right here. It is super simple. You honestly cannot miss it, guys. So let me see here, JavaScript terminals. Gosh, all right. All right, so I'll just come here and put in the Flutter pub get, right? Flutter pub then get, right? So I'll just click on enter, right? So now what's gonna happen is, right, so what's gonna happen right now is this, right? Once you press enter, right, it will download all the packages to get to the project needs, right? So it's going to get all the packages for us, right? It's going to get all the packages the project actually needs, right? So basically that's how it works. Then we'll move over to step 8, which is to run the app. So what's going to happen, I'm going to put in this quotation, right? This quotation right here, right? So basically we're actually just adding some quotations right here, because most times that's what happens when you don't put quotations, right? Sometimes it affects it. So I'm just going to put in quotation right here, okay, and then I just copy it right here again. Let's see. All right, so I'm just going to paste this right here. So basically this is what I'm going to do. So let's see what's going to happen right here. All right, so as you can see right here, we've actually accessed the folder we want to access, which is this folder right here, right, which is the Flutter application, right? This is basically the path that we want to access, right? So for us to do this, right, the next step, what we're going to do next is this. Just come over here to then come here to where it's copy this Flutter pub get, right? Very simple, very easy and simple. So I just come back here and then I'll just come here and paste it right here. It is super simple. So let's see what's gonna happen right here. So this the Flutter pub get, right? So basically whilst it's loading, what you should just know is that once you do it, right, the next thing we are going to do is that we'll make sure our eliminator of physical device is connected. Then inside of the VS Code terminal, we're going to put in Flutter space run, wait for it to build and launch, right? Finally I'll launch the Flutter I'll wait for it to launch, right, which is what we're going to do. Then once we do that, we now confirm that it actually worked, right? So if I come over here to my VS Code right here, boom. So as you can see right now, this is actually what's happening. So it's actually downloading packages and stuff like that. So basically it's actually setting up everything for us as it's supposed to be, right? So it is super simple. All right, so basically this is it, right? So what's going to happen is that it's actually downloading all the packages for us, right? The project needs all the packages that the project needs. After then we're going to run the app, which is super simple, right? Let's look at it right here. Right, so what we're going to do right now that is actually done, right? The next thing we're going to do right here is we're actually going to so the next thing we're going to do right now is that we're going to come over and type in this Flutter run, right? We're going to type in Flutter run right here, which is the last and the final step, right? Type in Flutter run and then we'll see what's actually going to happen right here. But basically what's actually going to happen is this: we actually wait for it to build and launch, because that's what's going to happen. It's actually going to build and launch. Right, so that's what the Flutter run is for. After then, right, what's going to happen next is that we just confirm that it works. So you will know you successfully imported the Flutter project if one, you can see the project file in the left explorer pane, like explorer page, which is practically this section right here. This is how we know it's launched right here, as you can see. So whilst, as you can see, this is actually what's happening, is actually launching for us. But then this is part of the way you know that it actually works, right? You can see the everything right here, right, which is one, right? You see the project file in the left side of the explorer. You can also open and edit any .dat, right, file inside lib, right? So what that means is this: if I come down here to lib and you see in .dat file, which is this one, right, if I click on it right here, it's actually going to come up, right? It's actually going to load up right here. Now if we're able to edit inside of it, it then means that it actually worked, that we've successfully imported projects. We've imported Flutter projects, right? We've successfully imported Flutter projects. It means we've successfully imported Flutter projects in VScode, right, from GitHub. All right, so basically that's it. So it's actually coming up right here. All right, so now that actually works right here, if I come here and see what I can and delete something right here, so if I come here and then try to erase this I from the import, as you can see, it actually works, right? If I come here and erase it, the import has been the I from the import has been cleaned, right? The reason is because we now are able to actually import, right, and edit that files. All right, so this is also a sign that it actually works. So if we complete all these steps, we know that it actually works, right? The project, we've successfully imported the Flutter project. All right, so with the last one is that the command Flutter pub runs without error, right? The command Flutter pub, that's pub, runs without error. So let's try it. So we'll try the command pub, right, which will run, right, but then we have to wait for this other Flutter run to actually successfully launch, right? We have to wait for it to successfully launch, which is this. We need to wait for it to actually launch successfully to be able to do this other ones, this other test. But basically, as you can see, everything is actually running smoothly and the app runs successfully using the Flutter run. All right, so basically it's actually that simple, and as you can see, it's actually downloading here, which is amazing, right? It is super amazing, right? So all right guys, so basically as you can see, it's actually working and it's actually downloading right here. So basically this is actually how I import Flutter projects in VS Code, right, from GitHub. Right, this is basically how I do it. Do well to like this video if you got any value from it, and also subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. These videos take us a lot of time to make, so it will mean the world if you actually subscribe, right? Please do well to subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. And yeah, with that being said, guys, I will see you in the next video.